because the things we are doing will not have an impact just now, but will have an impact on generations and generations to come. Then we have Talo All, who we work with in the northern part of Kenya, who have also supported us. I couldn't mention all of them, but those are just some of the partners that we are working with, who we are hoping that as we go along the way, we can increase capacity for all the subsidiaries where we have footprint, and so that we can reach bigger and bigger numbers. Thank you very much. I think that should mark the end of my presentation, if I'm not wrong, Diana. Thank you very much. Looking forward to this great event. I think it's something we have invested a lot of time. I know we've had long meetings with Jegan and team, and Diana and team, but very glad to see that we are getting into this journey, and very glad to see the government ready to put its muscle and skin into the game. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Banura. I work with the E4D team. So I'm just here to introduce our team leader, Katya, who is coming up next. Katya is going to tell us all about E4D. In case you haven't read the folders on your table, the documents in there yet, and you don't know what E4D is in full, she'll be telling you that, where we work, and all of that, everything about E4D. But I would like to also, just now that I have an opportunity, ask you to carry the folders with you that are on that table, the E4D folders, so that you can learn more about the things that we do, because I'm sure she's not going to exhaust everything. So over to you, Katya. And when Katya is done, we'll also hear from one of our donor representatives, Ingrid. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, and welcome to this event. The Honorable Minister of State for Minister of State for Education represented here, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development represented here, our partners of the KCB Foundation, of course, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocols observed. I do think that everyone has for sure read all the folders and knows much more about E4D than I do. But please allow me to introduce the Employment and Skills for Development in Africa program just very briefly, and then talk a bit about our KCB E4D partnership in construction works. You must be wondering what E4D is all about. It has been mentioned all the time. The logo is there just behind me. E4D is a program that focuses on employment and skills for development, working in 7 African countries. We are present in Tanzania, we are present in Uganda, Kenya, Mozambique, South Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria. And we are funded or commissioned, we call it, by the German government. You can see the logo there. We are also commissioned by the Norwegians, by the Norwegian government, and my colleague Ingvild will talk a bit later after me. We are commissioned by the EU, implementing several programs for the European Union. And in some countries, we are also very lucky to be commissioned by other donors and the private sector. Our core objective as E4D is to promote employment and skills development for job seekers, especially for women and young people, so that they can find, first of all, jobs, or that they can improve their employment situation. So what we do is we do skills development, we do enterprise development, that is supporting small and medium-sized enterprises or young entrepreneurs, as we're doing here, so that they can get more gainful employment or just increase their incomes. All these endeavors we are implementing together with the private sector, as we're doing here now with the KCB Foundation, because we believe that the private sector is really the entity or the authority driving employment for the future. Let me talk a bit about the principles guiding our work. So one of the principles are, as I already mentioned, the public-private partnerships, which we are really in different formats at the center of all our implementation efforts. Another one is that we promote regional cooperation, because we believe that it's not only one country It's several countries, and countries can learn from each other. Sometimes some interventions or some areas are further developed in one country, and then other countries can benefit. So one example for us for sure is this KCBF partnership, where we've learned in 2015 and to 2018 in Kenya on working with the KCB Foundation, and are now taking the model further in Tanzania and Uganda as well. Or one example is also that a partnership that I was able to see yesterday, training for lorry drivers, for big truck drivers, that was actually set up here in Uganda. Some of you may have seen it in relation to the oil and gas developments, in relation to ongoing constructions and trade efforts. And we've now transferred the example with the same partners to Mozambique, and the trainings are already happening there. Gender mainstreaming and economic empowerment for women is one of the most important issues for us. It is something that's very important for development cooperation, because we believe strongly in including women into professions, such professions that were earlier male-dominated, but also giving women the chance to become entrepreneurs themselves. And I would just like to mention the EU-funded Women Entrepreneurship for Africa that is running also here in Uganda, giving first and second stage financing to women, but also giving them skills like networking skills and technical skills, entrepreneurship skills, so that they can set up their own business. One of the issues that's coming up for us increasingly is the issue of green jobs. So jobs that are environmentally friendly and sustainable in an ecological sense. We are measuring all of these efforts. We are aiming for 20% of green jobs, also here in Uganda. And there are some quite exciting possibilities on that. For example, talking about waste and e-mobility here in Uganda. I would like to take up the point on the sustainability. It is one of the most important issues, and that's why we are working so strongly with the private sector. We believe that once E4D will no longer be there, maybe hopefully in a quite distant future, but it's the task of all development cooperation efforts that at some point all the countries are able to work without us. So we strongly work with the private sector so that efforts that we do will still be here once we are gone. Maybe just to share quickly with you some of our objectives. By 2023, which is the end of the current phase of the E4D program, we are expecting 60,000 people to bring 60,000 people into jobs. Of these, it's 35% women, 40% youth, and 20% green jobs. We are expecting to improve the employment situation of nearly 200,000 people and enhance the business capacities of 41,000 local enterprises. And even if you divide these figures by 7, it's still quite a lot of businesses, also here in Uganda, quite a lot of young people in Uganda to get into jobs. So it's quite a challenge for Donald and his team here, but I'm sure they'll manage fine. But today is not really so much about E4D. Today is really the launch of this KCBF Foundation, and it's also not about KCBF, but it's about the participants and the beneficiaries of the program, and I just want to highlight that. I'm very much looking forward to see some of the participants, some of the youngsters that are going to learn more on the construction skills, and I'm even more looking forward to meeting you again in a couple of months or maybe in a year's time when you've gone through the training, received the toolkits, are maybe in good discussions with KCB on funding or on access to finance, and are setting up your own business. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed for all of you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, as represented, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Mineral Development, as represented, our private sector partners, especially the KCB Foundation, project beneficiaries who are here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. The Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD, has partnered with the German Development Cooperation Program, E4D, Employment and Skills for Development in Africa, since 2015. NORAD is supporting GIZ to implement E4D in Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, Mozambique, and Kenya. We particularly value the E4D's approach of engaging in the private sector in developing activities and the strong focus on gender equality and the effort made in increasing number of women into the projects. In the last 2 decades, the Uganda government has made notable efforts in reducing poverty by, among other things, increasing employment opportunities. The construction sector is a good place to start. Statistics show that the construction industries contribute to over 12% of Uganda's GDP and has witnessed steady growth for the last 20 years. Uganda also faces an 8 million unit housing shortage, according to the Uganda National Planning Authority. With an estimated 300,000 housing unit needs per year, commercial construction and residential construction in Uganda are booming. Clearly, there is enough jobs waiting for beneficiaries for this project. The labor market in Uganda, like many other, is suffering from the significant skilled mismatch, as the qualification and expertise that young job seekers possess do not align with the employers are looking for. This means even as young people struggle to find work, many high-skilled jobs go unfilled. Some changes are faced by the construction projects, a gap that we aim to bridge through this project. We also don't underestimate the benefits of soft skills and hands-on experience. This project incorporates both aspects. When more young people acquire stable, high-paying jobs, they will have more disposable income to spend with, which will boost the economy. I therefore urge all participants to make the most of what this project to offer, while knowing that it is good for your good, your families and your countries. I wish all of you best as you undertake the training, and look forward to hearing about your prospering in the construction section. Finally, I would like to thank GIZ and the partners for this initiative and their professional approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katja and Ingrid from NORAD. And at this moment, like Katja rightly said, this is really not about us, but about the beneficiaries. And wouldn't it be nice to put a face, or a name to the people that we're supporting? So we want to hear from one of our beneficiaries, and her name is Nandago Evelyn. Please come up to the stage, Evelyn. Tell us about your story and how our partnership has supported you so far.
I'd like to recognize all members. And the guest of honor, Mr. Byakatonda Patrick. I'm by the names of Nandago Evelyn from Lugogo Vocation Training Institute. I'm a trainee under KCB program. I'd like to thank KCB, GIZ, EVENTKCB for the support provided to us. We are very, very happy for the program. I'm an orphan. I grew up with a single mother. Really, life has not been moving on well on my side. I had no skills before KCB. I tried to look for a job opportunity whereby I had to go to get to become an askari at Lugogo Vocation Training Institute. As well, I was working there. That's where I got this opportunity of KCB. I heard from the principal's office, Mr. Where is our principal, Mr. I'm very sorry. I'm so. This is just happiness. I really appreciate my principal for the opportunity given to me. If it was someone else, he could not allow me study as well I work. For sure I'm working, I go for my class, I go for classes during that morning hours. After lunch I come in for work. I really appreciate God for that. We are so grateful for this program. My dear, I don't know how to appreciate you. I'm so happy. Yes, we are getting skills. We are now coming. I'm under welding section. I'm doing well. I'm here with my colleagues. They can even introduce themselves before I proceed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am my name is Nyakato Joy. I'm doing carpentry and joinery at Lugogo Vocational Institute.
Good morning, everyone. Eric Ziwa, Lugogo Vocational Institute, Welding Department.
Thanks so much. I would like to request KCB, GIZ, E4D, that as we are getting skills, for really, we liked this program, but we should not stop here, because after getting skills, we have to get employed from somewhere. I would request you people, I would like to request you, sorry, at least after finishing up with our courses, at least you find us somewhere to go. Either industries, or you provide for us, like with the capital, so that we can set up our own businesses. We are fine with our training. It is moving on well. As we trainees from Lugogo Vocation Training Institute, we are so glad, we are very happy, we are actually appreciate you. I have a few to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Ziwa. Maybe what she couldn't say in the midst of her emotions was that Evelyn was working as what is an askari, is a security guard at Lugogo, and when she saw the advert, she did apply and hoped, crossed fingers, that should be shortlisted. She was, and she was among the formidable ladies that took on the discipline of welding, and she's performing very well. She was actually the lady that was in the photos that was holding the welding gun. So beneficiaries, we appreciate you and encourage you to just keep on. And yes, indeed, the placements are on the program with us, and the capital is part of what our contribution as KCB, Bank Uganda, and Foundation will be. So at this juncture, allow me welcome my boss, my managing director, Mr. Edgar Biama, to give us a few remarks.
Thank you, Diana. The director, Directorate of Industrial Training, the Country Director, GIZ Uganda, Katia Rockwell, the Program Director for GIZ, Ingvild Madsen, Advisor Education Section NORAD, Donald Agaba, Team Leader E4D, a representative from the Ministry of Petroleum, Energy and Petroleum, Mr. Malinga, invited guests, KCB Uganda and GIZ staff present. A very good morning to you all. It is a pleasure to see you all on this bright and crisp day. And I want to welcome you all and extend our sincere gratitude for you being here with us to witness the official launch of this landmark partnership between KCB Bank Uganda and the German International Development Agency, KCB Bank acting on behalf of the KCB Foundation that my colleague Wanjeri had spoken earlier about. Today is yet another bright day for Uganda, most especially for the youth in the construction sector, which despite the disruption occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, continue to register growth and contribute to the GDP. I think its contribution is about 12% at the moment. KCB Uganda, therefore, is pleased to join hands with GIZ to make a lasting and meaningful contribution to the economic development of Uganda through supporting local enterprise, but also upskilling our youth, including our females in this country. We are cognizant of the role that the youth play and will continue to play as we transform this economy of ours. According to the 2021 United Nations Development Program report on youth initiatives in Uganda, 70% of Uganda's population is under 30. And about 1 million people enter the job market every year. The challenge, therefore, is not the absence of labor. It is the absence of skills. And this is why the E4D program, together with NORAD and GIZ, is a very, very, very critical shot in the arm to bridging this big deficiency in our economy. It is against this background that the KCB Foundation, through KCB Bank Uganda and GIZ Uganda, launched the technical skills training with a grant worth 1.57 million euros, of which the foundation is contributing 845. These might look like token sums, but when you realize that over time they will gradually give our youth an asset that no one can take away from them, which is knowledge and skills. The grant will support the provision of construction toolkits to these youths, a major, major challenge as well, especially in our vocational trades. Enable them to establish enterprises post-graduation, and also help them to be entrepreneurs in one way or the other. And where they are employees, they will be skilled employees. We target, as Kodja mentioned, a 70-30% male-female participation, and gladly would like to drive this to parity. But we have to start somewhere, and I was happy to see the young lady here. Actually, there were two ladies. For those of you who are conversant with the vocational trades, you realize that the participation of females has been loop-sided. You know, it has been more male than female. So we are starting to talk the talk when we see more ladies showing up and being present. Overall, our objective is to increase their employability and income generation of these youths and Ugandans in general working in the construction sector. I'm happy to note that this program and so many others that speak to enterprise development has been very successful in Kenya under the foundation, and my colleague Wanjeri did highlight that in her presentation, and would want and believe that this will also be replicated here. We strongly believe that with our partners, NORAD and GIZ, we have embarked on a journey that will be very impactful for the future, for the current and the future generations. Allow me to extend once again KCB Foundation and KCB Uganda's deepest appreciation to GIZ, NORAD, and the other partners for their commitment and support to us on this journey of making a long-lasting impact in the lives of East Africans in general and Ugandans in particular through this skilling program, which has enabled us to extend the reach Without our partners, there would only be limited participants. But now we are targeting at least 2,000 over the program. I want also in a special way to recognize the role that the Ministry of Education has played, especially the Directorate of Industrial Training. And again, we continue to look for you and count on your support in the future. We are happy with the partnership that we have with the Vocational Training Institute so far. We started off on the right note, despite all the challenges, and I think this program will bear more fruit. To GIZ, you remain a valued and strategic partner. In conclusion, therefore, I call upon and urge the youth to take advantage of this opportunity. There are not so many opportunities like this, and for those of you who are on the program, use this opportunity to change your lives, create employment, start businesses, and be at the forefront of transforming our country. I thank you and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Edgar. And to officially signify or signal the signing of the partnership between KCB Bank Uganda, KCB Foundation, and GIZ, we're going to have a signing ceremony that will happen up here, represented by our managing director and the team lead from E4D Uganda. We shall then proceed to have a photo moment. So Mr. Edgar and Mr. Agaba, please. This is the big moment when KCB Foundation and KCB Bank dug deep into their pockets and pulled out 1.5 million euro, the equivalent of 6 billion Uganda shillings, that will be used in the different disciplines that have been mentioned up here over the next 2 years. So gentlemen, over to you. Allow me invite Katia and Caroline to join the gentlemen on the stage for a quick photo shoot. You'll be centered. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Without the masks, would like to see your faces. For just one more shot, and our dear chief guest, I apologize in advance, but I request that in your capacity in the office of the State Minister, that you join the two parties on the stage up here and take a photo with the team for this great momentous occasion. Let us have also one beneficiary Nyakato Joy, please join us. Great. All right, thank you. Just one more. Allow me invite one more person upstairs, and Mr. Hani Malinga, please, from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, and Ingrid from NORAD. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, and we're done. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And that moment is the major reason that we are here this morning. So on to the next part of our program. I would like to invite a very important partner for us, for GIZ, for NORAD, for the general program, Mr. Hani Malinga, Directorate from Petroleum, Ministry of Energy. We welcome you.
Thank you very much, Masters of Ceremonies. Honorable Minister of State of Higher Education here represented, representative from the German Embassy, present, Norwegian Embassy, the Managing Director, KCB, Uganda, our colleague Edgar, my colleague, Director of Industrial Training. We have been meeting in different fora. I didn't know that we'd meet here today. And your team from the same directorate. The GIZ E4D team were represented. The management and staff of Intinda Vocational Training Institute. In our always past year, I didn't know that this thing is so big. But today I'm here, and I think soon I should also become a student. Our beneficiaries of different category, invited guests and ladies. Good morning once again. I'm called Hani Malinga, Acting Director of Petroleum. It was last week on my way to Kigumba, Uganda Petroleum Institute Kigumba, is when I was called that we have a function today. It should be a must, you should attend. I said, let me try. They have a very busy schedule. So I made an effort of coming to attend this one. I didn't know how big it was, but now I'm realizing it is a big thing with big resources. As the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and also the Director of Petroleum, we take this opportunity to be part and parcel of this event. This occasion where E4D and the KCB Foundation is launching skilling project reminds us of many other activities we have attended. When she called Evelyn, when she was giving her background, I recalled a similar function at Nakawa Vocational, whereby one of the trainees in civil works was a dam. You know, somebody just using signs. She was a lady, but she went through, she was among the best students, but she was dumb, but through the training, she was able to perform very well. So when I hear the story of one of the beneficiary being an orphan, being an askari, you know, it tells a lot. So for those ones who are watching, there are many opportunities. For those who are believers, they say God is always with you in all forms. So I want to take this opportunity to thank E4D and the KCB Foundation for this effort, which is bridging the skills gap in the construction sector, which has persisted for a long period. You know, in 2000, I think either 14 or 15, one of our government employees in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, he had applied to go for masters in real estate. Now, me personally, I knew that real estate is not directly related to oil and gas. But later, my permanent secretary said, no, this thing is very, very important, because if you have somebody who knows how to design real estate, we'll be eliminating those slums, the households. So we realized that it was very important. So even this training which we are doing now, it is very, very important to reduce on the gap of housing with the time. Ladies and gentlemen, coming from the petroleum industry, technical and vocational skills are key in implementing the oil and gas projects. This skilling project, which we are witnessing today, is very, very important, and as a subsector, we welcome it. There are a lot of activities going on, not only in the Alberta and Graben, but around the country. Recently, when in Moroto, the Kadam Basin, Moroto-Kadam Basin, and we realized that there is already interest. People are picking interest to see if there is land to put some infrastructure. So if you have well-skilled people of this caliber, it takes a short time to have that construction done. Our partnership with E4D program has implemented several projects that are aimed at bridging the gaps which I've already mentioned, particularly in oil and gas. There is construction, welding, scaffolding, you mentioned it. I think in 2018 or 2019, when Hoima, we were surprised that the best, some of us, even 3-4 meters, when you climb, you start getting challenges. But one of the best students was a younger lady. She could just climb like a monkey. You see somebody just going up. And people told us that there's already a market in Qatar, because we all know that World Cup is being held soon in Qatar, and there's a lot of construction. So as a training institute, as a country, we are happy for such skills which give us a better image. We know that with a lot of effort, we recently trained over 1,500 youth around Kampala and Pakwach. For those of us who have not been to Pakwach, it's almost like a forgotten area. But through E4D, they have to go and get students from that area. And that type of training gives hope for even those ones who are far from the center that, yes, there's an opportunity. And you know, this training goes on not only with just training, but there's also skills and certifications which come with time. So as Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, we know that in the oil sector, they always insist on certifications. So with this training, which these trainees go through, if there's an additional funding for them to get certification, opens for them better opportunities. As she was asking, that we need support, we need this. So if you have a certification, it's just a matter of throwing your certification on a net and you immediately get an opportunity. So construction skills are very, very much needed, not only in the construction sector, but also in the oil and gas sector. We don't want to have things which tomorrow will collapse. We need things which will stand with time. And we know that as we reach the production phase, there will be a lot of construction. Welding is very, very important in a way of, in many ways. One, welding may be doing construction, but when it comes to the piping, either it is a product pipeline, either it is a crude pipeline, you'll need welders. Those are with all the required certifications. So we find after doing that, we go for other opportunities. I'm happy that the project has one of the strategies, that is the component of capacity building, the trainees to establish and develop their own enterprises. She mentioned it, says, please, if you can get us tools. One time when a retreat, and somebody told us that during those days, there was a training institute, I think inside of Hoima, but they called it TECO. You know, TECO means technical. So people will say, me, I want to go to TECO. The reason was that after you have trained, they give you a tool. They give you a toolkit. You go with it. So in other words, they give you an employment immediately. So as you're saying, you know, it is not a matter of saying you have trained, you go with the head, but you should have some basic tools which can enable you to start off. As a sector, that's energy, we have realized that as when we extend the power to those different localities, we create employment. And now we are talking of the parish development model. The task with us as the Minister of Energy and Development is how are we going to extend power? We have gone through training. You can't do welding using a generator. It means you need fuel. But if you have electricity, it makes your job easier and you get employment in any corner of the country. So as I come to the end, I want once again to thank the organizers for inviting us as Minister of Energy and Development, and particularly the Director of Petroleum for this big occasion. I want to thank all those ones, because for Kenya, KCB to come and invest in Uganda, it means a lot. That means there is a lot of blood relationship, because one will say, let us concentrate in Kenya alone. But we are seeing Kenya, KCB has extended facilities to Uganda, Rwanda, you mentioned it. So I want once again to thank Kenya Foundation for that wisdom. You never know. As we go for integration, we might be one, and we shall be balancing the boat, as someone was saying. So as a government, we take an effort, we commit ourselves to make sure that skills developed of maximum national participation in the oil and gas. And for those ones who have gone through, don't give up. Try your opportunities. Never give up. Otherwise, if you give up, all the skills which you have attained will not be of value to you and for the country. I've said this all for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malinga, for those poignant remarks. And I just want to give us a quick update on where we are with the program so far. In December last year, we sent out our initial call for beneficiaries. We wanted to do 700 beneficiaries for the first cohort. We were overwhelmed with over 4,500 applications. This partnership cannot be done by us. And I want to recognize a special group of people, and those are our vocational training institutions. On that table, allow me, gentlemen and lady, to ask you to stand up. We are currently working with 6 vocational institutions. First, give them a round of applause. Collectively, they are currently taking care of 686 beneficiaries that were shortlisted for the first cohort. We have Ntinda Vocational that graciously hosted us here today. We have Lugogo, we have Data Mine, we have Daniel Komboni in Gulu, we have Ginger Vocational in Ginger. And our promise is that in the next cohorts, we have already finished scouting just to include our regional integration. So Arua, we are coming, Mbale, we are coming, Fort Portal, Hoima, we are coming, because the goal is 2,000 beneficiaries. I just thought that it's important for us to know that classes are actually ongoing. So when we do have that tour later, you'll be able to see what our beneficiaries have learned and put in place so far. So at this juncture, I would like to welcome our chief guest to come and give us a few remarks. He represents many officers this morning. And Mr. Biakatonda, it's truly our pleasure to have you this morning.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. All ambassadors, the Managing Director, KCB, the Country Director, GIZ, the project coordinators, the staff of KCB, the staff of GIZ. For the interest of time, let me observe the protocol as already mentioned by the mistress of ceremony. This is the speech from the Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education. I'm representing her. So you have greetings from Minister of Education and Sports. But also you have greetings from the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports. The Permanent Secretary selected me specifically to be in charge of this program. But also the PS visited the group at herself, she visited the group at Lugogo Vocation and inspected when the training is taking place. And the implementers, for us as a ministry, the implementers are very critical. The success of this project, it is the implementers. So as we finalize, you will call them and they hold that check. The implementers, we have principals. Please, as I mentioned, your school, you stand up and they see you. Not as a group. Ginger Vocational. Ntinda Vocational Training Institute. Rugogo Vocational Training Institute. Data Mine. Nyamtanga Technical Institute. Daniel Komboni Vocational Institute. On our side, on assessment and certification, the person who is directly in charge is Dr. Kumu, who is my deputy in charge of assessment and certification. So as I said, let me go back to the speech. Greetings from the ministry, that one I have finished. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you at the launch of KCB GIZ Partnership Program, which is taking place today at Ntinda Vocational Training Institute. First and foremost, it's gratifying to hear that KCB, in collaboration with GIZ, have come up with a program of skilling the vulnerable. I think one of the vulnerable, you have already seen her. She's the one who opens for us, for me, a gate every day. But she did not know how to repair it. Now she has the skill. Once it breaks down, she can even go extra mile. So those are the vulnerable. We thank you. We thank KCB. We thank GIZ. And supporting them in short technical occupations as identified by the Directorate of Industrial Training. Now, DIT, Directorate of Industrial Training, is like a NITA of Kenya, National Industrial Training Authority of Kenya. So what do? We do trade test. So these trainees can fully fit in East African community. Our levels, the level 3 of NITA is the same as level 1 of DIT. And we usually equate the candidates across the country. But we are also ISO certified. NITA of Kenya is ISO certified. DIT of Uganda is ISO what? Certified. And we shall continue improving. So you are with a good pattern. As Maringa said, certification, no problem. This is the right body. For trades, occupation, we call it occupation. We are the ones who make who will make the younger lady a welder. The institutions which are implementing, I have already mentioned them. We are very grateful for this chance, and on behalf of the ministry, I will ensure that the program is well managed and well implemented. I thank the managing director and staff of KCB Bank for organizing this launch. We appreciate the great job that you are doing for this country, especially in empowering the youth with skills and promoting skills development for all categories of people who need skills. Skills development is very high on government's development agenda, and being a sector directly responsible for human capital development, the Ministry of Education and Sport has the responsibility to ensure that we have the necessary structure and program in place to make this happen. And so I am really pleased with what is being done by KCB Bank and directly involving also the certification, which is Directorate of Industrial Training. DIT is ISO certified. I've already mentioned about this one. And my prayer is that the continued growth program provide an opportunity for more Ugandans, because 4,000 applied and only a small number has benefited. So the prayer of Honorable Minister is that more Ugandans can attain training, assessment, and certification. Last but not least, allow me to appreciate everyone in attendance, the MD, the directors, the principals, the donors, KCB staff, and all the training institutions for a work well done. Thank you very much. We look to develop Uganda's economy by empowering the youth through, excuse me, through these skilling projects for self-employment and towards the mandate of the education and sports sector, particularly the provision of quality education and skills for all. I thank you for listening to me, for God and my country.
Chief Guest, we truly appreciate you once again and thank you for those remarks this morning. So on our agenda next, we are going to have a tour of the institution, and we'll also be able to see some of the work of our beneficiaries. So at this moment, I would like to invite our host, Ntinda Vocational, through the Deputy Principal, to lead the delegation and take us around. I invite members of the media and all of us that are present here to join us on the tour. Thank you. Sorry?
Thank you, MC. The chief guest, the representative representing the Minister for State, the Director DIT, the MDKCB, and the partners. Dear visitors, my name's Kisu Atta Mohammed. I'm here to represent the principal of Ntinda VTI, Madam Harriet Kagezi, who hasn't been able to be with us here. My role is to guide the team for a guided tour, but before I do that, I need to appreciate the organizers. I need to appreciate KCB. I need to appreciate all the partners. The previous speakers have talked about the child girl, the girl child, and how vocational is very impacting. Allow me take this opportunity to say that at Ntinda, we really look at gender streaming. And in Tinder, we look at a girl child as a very important person in the vocational. Allow me at this time, as I recognize my guild body, introduce one person who is a girl and she's taking welding at national level. Madam Fatina. Yes, that lady, she's taking welding, so she's not very different from our vulnerable student. I would like to thank the guild who accepted to cooperate and mentor our KCB students. This time, I would like to thank Honorable Malinga. Malinga is a very good mentor. Actually, he mentored me and encouraged me to to do a research on oil and gas, that is waste management, when he was in the Ministry of Energy. So members, this time, I would like also to thank my staff who helped me, who supported me to organize and work with this team. There among us, there is a board representative of the staff, Mr. Godfrey Kasinga, Standard for Recognition. I thank my fellow principals for supporting KCB and this project. So members, you are most welcome to Ntinda VTI. And right now, we are ready to go for a guided tour. Allow me call Mr. Kateva Stephen. Kateva Stephen, come here such that we can start off. Madam Donnelly, we won't be led. They're already there. Yes, I'm informed they're already there. We can start our journey. Thank you, you're most welcome.